No, not even going there. What are we talking about this week? We're talking about avoiding. We're talking about not sweating the small stuff, focusing on the things that really matter. Welcome back, Happy Doer. I'm so glad you're here for another week of Happier at Work. We are going to talk this week, building on last week's conversation about avoiding. Last week, I talked to you about examining our differences. Click the link below if you didn't check it out already. And wow, I mean, there's just so many things that can come up at work that make us unhappy. And we talked about them being values or methods, styles, that sort of thing. And well, some of the things that matter, for example, and I don't know where you work or what exactly you do, there's so many of you out there, but you know, if you're working in a restaurant and the way that you make your specialty shrimp pasta cream dish, well, yeah, that matters. The method that you and your chefs use to make that matters. And if you work for a hotel who is very popular for their customer service, well, how the concierge or front desk or housekeeping or anyone for that matter, how they greet the guests in that hotel, well, that matters. But wow, there's so many things that come up at work that really don't matter, like the paper towels in the kitchen. It doesn't matter if they feed from the top or from the bottom. Same with the toilet paper. Really. Or it doesn't matter the way that Rachel files her paperwork at her desk. Maybe it matters how she files things that are accessible to many, but to just Rachel, does it really matter? I mean, maybe, but probably not. If she's able to access them and get to them quickly. Or what about the way that Jared says right on all the time? I mean, is that really matter, or is it just annoying to you? And why? Why is it annoying to you? What I'm trying to point out to you here is, again, just our differences and the things that matter. Absolutely, we will need to focus on them at some point. Future, I'll get there, promise. But a lot of times there's things that come up that really, they don't matter. And so what do you do with the things that don't matter? This is really conflict. And what I'm teaching you is conflict management. There are a number of different strategies, but the first strategy that I want to tell you about is the strategy of avoiding. That's right, avoiding it altogether. Now, this could sound easy, especially if you're a natural avoider. You might be thinking, what? I do this all the time. This means nothing to me. And if this is your default method of dealing with conflict, I invite you to subscribe. And when my other options for dealing with conflicts come up, please check those out. But for some of us, and this is true for me, I'm not a natural avoider. We can benefit from really examining those differences and saying, you know, this just doesn't matter. We could say that out loud, or we could use our internal voices here and here to say, this probably doesn't matter, and I don't need to say anything. Like I mentioned, this is not my natural tendency, but what I've learned is that I can really sort of look at the situation, figure out the perspective. Okay, does this matter in the long run? How long? Why does it matter? Is it my control, which usually it is? And then I can choose, I can avoid this. Avoiding can be useful in other scenarios as well. Avoiding can be useful especially for cooling off periods. Sometimes things really do matter a whole lot. And they matter so much to us that when somebody does it wrong or a different way or what have you, there's conflict around this thing, this idea, method, value is broken, then we need some time because we're not in the right state of mind to really truly address it. So I also recommend using this strategy when you need to buy some time. Using avoidance, as I mentioned before, to address your conflict in general is not a strong strategy. I invite you to poke around at other videos and future videos to learn more about some strategies that might be useful if this is your default method. Happy doer, this is all.